Hey guys, welcome back to the video. Today I will be doing my review on the AFC teams, but first I need to go back to Wheel of the Sides, and I'm going to put in all the divisions within the AFC conference, AFC South, North, East, and West, and then whatever conference I land on, I'm then going to put the teams, and whatever team I land on, that will be the team I am reviewing. I hope to review all 32 teams. So to leave support for the series, leave a like below, comment, subscribe, do all those nice things, and let's get into the video. Okay, so I put all the AFC divisions here. I got South, North, East, and West. Let's apply it. If it lands on it, we will not be doing it, so last one remaining wins. And I will be doing 15 seconds per spin, let's say. Let's get it started. Okay, so whatever one it lands on, we will not be doing. I hope to get all the divisions done, all 8 divisions in the league, but we'll see. So the division I will not be doing first is the AFC West. With the Super Bowl champions, I will not be doing the AFC West. So we still have 3 remaining. Okay, not be doing AFC West. Still got 3 left. Whatever one I do, I'm then going to put the teams in that division on the wheel. So let's say the one I will not be doing next is the AFC East. It looks like I'll not be doing the Jets, Patriots, Bills. I'll not be doing them for the AFC East. Okay, so we got 2 left. We got the AFC South with the Texans winning that division along with the Titans in there. We got the AFC North, Steelers, Ravens, Browns, Bengals. So there's some interesting things to cover from these 2 divisions, but these are going to be our final thing. Let's make it a little dramatic. We'll make it 25 seconds. Whatever one it lands on, I will not be doing. Whatever one it lands on, I'll not be doing. The one that it doesn't land on, I will be doing. And then I'm going to be putting the teams down. Then I'm going to cover one team at a time. So let's go. Just comment below which one you think it is going to be. I'm just going to guess AFC South. Why not? I think it will not land on AFC South, I should say. We'll see. Getting close here, slowing down. It's looking like AFC North. Looking like AFC North. Oh, that's a tough one for me. So we will not be doing the AFC South. We will be doing the AFC North. Okay. So within the AFC North, let's put down the teams. Steelers, the Ravens, the Bengals. Got the Browns. Whatever one it lands on, the team that I will be covering today. Okay, here we go. So if it does not land on it, I will not be covering it. So let's see what it is. Getting close. Looking maybe like the Ravens. Maybe not. I think it's going to be the Bengals. Maybe the Browns. Oof. We will not be covering the Bengals in this video, but this will be the division that we'll do 4 videos on. So the Bengals will be up in about 2, 3, 4 videos. We don't know. So the Bengals are going to be eliminated. We will not be covering the Bengals. Okay, 3 left. Steelers, Ravens, Browns. Let's see. See what it is. Once again, if it whatever team that it doesn't land on, the team that I was doing, and I'm probably going to go in depth, talk about their draft picks, talk about their free agency, and talk about their schedule. They don't know the schedule, but they know the teams they're going to play. I'm going to predict the record, if playoffs or not, how far they're going to go in their future. So we got the Browns. We are not doing the Browns. It's just between 2 rivals, the Steelers and the Ravens. Let's see. Okay. Between the Steelers and the Ravens, whichever one it lands on, I will not be doing. Let's go. Between the 2, once again, like I was saying, I'm going to talk about the future. I'm going to talk about probably their key players for next season, who needs to step up in order for them to make playoffs maybe, or do well. So let's see. Whatever one it lands on, I will be covering. So looks like this, I will be covering the Ravens in my first video, this video. Then I'll be doing the Steelers next probably, and then the Browns and the Bengals. So the Ravens will be the team that I am doing. The wheel decided the Ravens. I'll be covering the Ravens today in this video. I'll be covering everything from my draft pick that I expect the Ravens to pick up. That's straightly correlates exactly with my round 1 predictions. Then I'm going to get into their schedule, how I think they're going to be this year. I'll give them a record. Well, I don't know when they're playing. I know where they're playing, so I'll base it off that. Then I'm going to look at some key players for their success, and to continue their successes. And finally, I'm going to take a look at their free agency that they've done this year in 2020. So let's start. So according to the mock draft, I will be drafting the Ravens. And let's go automatic. So what I picked for the Ravens was eventually, once they all make these selections, I was between the Ravens drafting Patrick Queen and Kenneth Murray. I think it's 50-50 shot. I think most likely it'll be Kenneth Murray because Patrick Queen, I think, will go to the Saints, 24th overall. But we'll see. Let's see how this draft does it. We'll be interested to see how they pick. So we may get... Okay, so Patrick Queen's still on the board. Someone already picked up Kenneth Murray. So Patrick Queen. I think we're going to get Kenneth Murray, though. That was in my predictions. So let's go over to Kenneth Murray. So prospect info, he's out of Oklahoma. He's a junior, so he's graduating a year before. He's 6'2", 241, perfect size for a linebacker. He's rated a 6.49 out of 7, which is really good. 40-yard dash, 4.52, really quick, fast. Bench press, 21. Vertical jump, 38. Broad jump, 129. Really decent stats. His bio, he was a 4-star recruit out of Missouri City, Texas. He was on the freshman All-American. He was Big 12 Defensive Freshman of the Year. Overview, this is his analysis. They compare him to Quan Alexander, who, as we know, plays on the 49ers. This is by Lance Zerline. He says he's sleek, playmaking linebacker. His game is predicated on his fast and quick speed, with the ability to fly around from sideline to sideline. He says that Murray has hit or miss qualities and is more splashy than consistent, but he's immensely talented with the ability to imprint on games on all 3 downs. So basically they're saying he's a 50-50 shot turnout, Pro Bowler or bust, which is interesting for the Ravens. I still think they're going to gamble, take a chance, because as he said, I think he has a little bit more upside than downside. He has really flashy playmaking abilities. I think he can turn into Quan Alexander even better. Let's look at his strengths. Great playmaking speed, very decisive, runs and moves like a safety, which is really good for a linebacker. Typically, you think a bigger guy, safety, more smaller, sleek, but Kenneth Murray is fast for his size, which is good. He averages nearly 15 tackles for loss over the past 2 years, which is insane. Really good in the running game. Maybe he can get to the quarterback. He makes all tackles, which is really good. The Ravens, I watched some of their film, and people were calling Earl Thomas the lead blocker for Derrick Henry, and I think that big problem with the Ravens last year was their lack to make tackles on running backs, wide receivers in general, which led to big plays. One of them was in week, you guys may know this, but in week 5, when they were playing against the Steelers, Marlon Humphrey missed a tackle, led to Juju Smith's touchdown. We got the Derrick Henry run in the AFC divisional game. And then we also had just a lot of big plays that were because of lack of tackling. So that's an important thing. He has an instant burst to the ball from a standstill. He can spy, blitz, or rush off the edge, so he's very versatile. Do a lot of things, can really help improve the team that's desperate for edge rushers and good players that can deal against the run game, which hurt them in the AFC divisional game. His weaknesses now. Needs to temper urgency, so they're basically saying he's too urgent, he always wants to make the play instead of making the smart play. He can be misdirected out of position multiple times, which in an NFL backdrop does not work well. Quarterbacks will light you up, so that's not good. He has to improve his strength and hand usage for take-on duties, which is interesting. And they say he needs to play with better balance and control. And that was his grade. So these are the grades: perfect prospect, boom or bust prospect, backup. They're saying that he is 6.49, which according to them is basically a boom or bust prospect, which isn't bad. I'm going to check Patrick Queen really quickly and see where he is here. I'm interested to see how they'll rank him. Remember that Kenneth Murray is 4.9. So let's see. Let's see how they rank him. So 6.71 is how they rank Kenneth Murray, which is interesting. Much higher than Kenneth Murray. He is, based on his chart, says that he is a quality one-year starter, which is very interesting. So that's pretty good for the Ravens if they can pick him up. Let's just go over him briefly because I think these are the two strongest opportunities for the Ravens. I don't know clearly. Maybe they could both be drafted in front of him, and the Ravens have to go with the edge. But this is going to be interesting. So he's from LSU. He's a junior as well. 6 foot, 229, 10-inch hands, 31 5/8 arms from LSU. Once again, his grade is 6.71. So his combine results for the 40-yard dash, he was in 4.5 seconds, super quick, actually faster than Murray. Bench press 18, vertical jump 35, broad jump 125. So very decent stats. His player bio. He's compared to Thomas Davis. He was a 4-star recruit and was rewarded as the top player in the Baton Rouge area. He's a very solid player. Queen, as they said, has some eye-opening tape on the bunch. Really promising player. Plays with fast, physical, and with impressive field confidence for a one-year starter. Only started for 1 year, which is interesting. He said that he is an early starter with a sky-high ceiling. So they're saying that Patrick Queen has a very strong potential, more than Kenneth Murray. So his strengths: big flashes against Georgia, Oklahoma, and Clemson, against good teams. So he ended his season on a really strong note, which is good for a one-year starter. Rapid to diagnose and trigger to action, so he can really read out the play before it happens, see what's going on. Very important, almost like a safety mentality. He pad squared up and base wide and lateral scrapes, so he is good hitter. Athletic ability to cover tight ends and running backs, which is big. And he has sudden lateral quickness to close down passing lanes. So like Murray, I think Queen is very elusive, very versatile, very quick for a linebacker position. Once again, NFL.com, they rate Patrick Queen higher than Kenneth Murray, which I think is interesting. So that actually is going to change my mind a bit, because I was originally thinking Kenneth Murray. I think most likely it'll be Kenneth Murray, but if those two are available, I do think that the Ravens side with Queen over Murray based on this upside potential and rare ability. Although I do think that he's only been a starter 1 year, I think that could be deterring on his draft capital, but we'll see. So let's get into the Ravens' schedule. As we know, they ended the postseason heartbreaking fashion, lost in the divisional playoffs to the 6th seed. They have the number 1 seed at M&T Bank. They lost 28-12. If you all don't remember, it was the game Derrick Henry went off, called King Henry. Lamar Jackson had not a terrible game, but an average game, and he'd been performing. He's the unanimous MVP, been performing amazing the whole season, just dropped dead in the divisional playoff. I think it had to do with a mix of poor offensive coordinating from Greg Roman. I think that he started to stray away from the run, which the team succeeds so well, run and throw it when they don't expect it, to throw it and then run occasionally, which is not the bread and butter of the Ravens. Same thing that they did actually in the postseason a year ago against the Chargers. If you don't remember, they lost about the same score line. They were never in the game, much like this game, because they kept going to their passing when they know they are lethal on the run. So let's look into the 2020 schedule. I'll be doing wins or losses. I don't know when the exact weeks will match up, but I do know if they're playing away or home. So let's see. So as you know, they're going to be playing against the AFC North, playing against the AFC South, playing against the NFC East, and playing against the AFC East. So let's see. Let's start off. So Cincinnati Bengals. First, we're going to start with all the home games and the away games. So let's do it first. So Cincinnati Bengals at M&T, with probably Joe Burrow as their quarterback. We don't know much about him in the NFL, how it will correlate. They don't have a lot of weapons around him. I think that this is going to be a win for the Ravens, which makes them 1-0. Cleveland, coming off a disappointing season after being hyped up as being a Super Bowl favorite, doing poorly on their expectations. I think they will have a bounce back year. I think they'll go 8-8, 9-7, possibly 10-6. Make the playoffs with the new 7th playoff format. We could cover NFL rules in a later video. Let me know. So I think it's going to be interesting. I think I may put Cleveland as a playoff contender, and I think they're going to be the 7th seed, maybe. So I think this is going to be a tougher game. They're not going to be the same Cleveland Browns we saw last year. I still think because it's at home, the Ravens are going to take this win. They're going to be 2-0. Pittsburgh at M&T. Ben Roethlisberger's resurrection. Loss to Antonio Brown, as we know, Le'Veon Bell. But the Steelers have a very good lockdown defense. And can they have a good offense? That is the question. They still have Juju. They still have Ben. I think they're going to be decent as well. I think the AFC North is going to be very good. Maybe an exception of Cincinnati for now. I think Pittsburgh at M&T, it's going to be a close game. Pittsburgh and Ravens have great battles in between them. I still think this is going to be a Ravens win. Jacksonville Jaguars, I think they're the Jaguars. I don't think there's much upswing there. I think it's 4 right now at M&T. The Ravens are going to be 4-0. Tennessee Titans at M&T. This is going to be an interesting game. I think this may be their Week 1 matchup. The team that beat them in the AFC divisional round at the same exact stadium, different years, same players. Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, Mark Ingram. I think the Ravens are going to take this one. I think that they're going to bounce back. They're going to prove to them that this was a fluke. I think that they're going to be coming in mad. I think they're 5-0. Dallas Cowboys, interesting one. Dallas, hit and miss. Dak Prescott may hold out. Who knows? But I think Dak Prescott will be the quarterback to start. Zeke Elliott, they have good players. I think it's going to be a rebound year for the Cowboys. Possibly go 12-4, 11-5, 10-6. I think they're a playoff team. Cowboys come to M&T, and I think they beat the Ravens, 5-1. Ravens right now. Giants, think Ravens win 6-1. Kansas City Chiefs, that's the matchup. Maybe that may be a Sunday Night Football game. Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl contenders versus the Ravens. Everyone wants that matchup in the AFC Championship. Didn't get it last year for unfortunate reasons, but I think this is going to be the game of the week, possibly, maybe even the game of the year. I think the Ravens at M&T, they had a game of the year last year. Game of the week last year against the Patriots. Won that game. I think they're going to lose this game, however. 6-2 are going to be the Ravens. At Paul Brown Stadium, I think 7-3 against the Bengals. Browns at First Energy, let's go 7-3. Yeah, let's go 7-3. They're going to lose that game. Houston Texans at NRG, I think they're going to lose that 7-4. Indianapolis, I think 8-5. No Tom Brady, I think this is a 9-5, 10-5, 11-5, 12-5. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I think it's 11-5, my bad. I think the Ravens will go 11-5. I think they definitely have a possibility to go 12-4, even 13-3. I think that games they could flip the Dallas game. I think it's going to be hard to flip the Kansas City game. They could definitely flip the Houston game and the Browns game. I think 11-5. I think that's a good prediction for them. Lamar Jackson's going to have a slight recession, but it's hard to follow up a unanimous MVP campaign with a unanimous MVP campaign. So I think there's going to be a slight recession. I think the Ravens will have I think they'll be the 3rd or the 2nd seed or the 4th seed in the AFC. They will be hosting a home playoff game. I think Kansas City will get number 1. I think the Ravens may get number 2, but we'll see. So that is my prediction for the Ravens schedule. I'm thinking 11-5. Max 13-3, minimum 9-7. So now let's take a look at the key players I think are key to Baltimore's success, their playoff run, maybe even their Super Bowl aspirations. So let's go. First player downloads is the MVP himself, unanimous MVP. Not bad for a running back, man. LaMarvelous, MVP, Lamar Jackson. I think he is crucial to the Ravens' success. The Ravens revolve around him. Their hotshot offense revolves around him. I'm taking a look at his stats. He had 9,127 yards throwing the ball, which is 22nd in the league. He had 36 touchdowns, number one. 6 interceptions, tied 8th. Pretty good numbers. I think he had 3 in one game against the Steelers, so that reduced some. And he had a few little tip balls here and there, so no bad mistakes. 81.8 QBR rating. That is first. He had 2 perfect games, according to the QBR rating. Week 1 against Dolphins, and then subsequently against the Bengals in Week 7. So I think that these are very solid stats overall. He did well to incorporate his running backs. He did well on his legs, broke the most rushing yards for a quarterback. Went over 1,000, which any running back would be thrilled by going over 1,000 yards. Lamar Jackson did it as a quarterback in the NFL. Unanimous MVP. The question is, of course, as everyone's saying, will teams catch up with Lamar Jackson? And that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. I don't think many people know the answer. We'll see. People were saying that last season. Look what happened. I think he will have a recession, but I think that's normal for any MVP quarterback. Patrick Mahomes had a recession after winning MVP. Lamar Jackson will have a recession, but will still be a very good player in this league, probably a Pro Bowler. So I don't think teams can figure out Lamar Jackson. I think they can try to find ways to combat the rushing scheme and the rush versus throw. When they can tell the Ravens are running it a lot, and when they're going to mix it up and throw and beat you, they're going to try to stop that down. They're going to try to force Lamar Jackson to throw the ball consistently, which he can't do. That's not his bread and butter. It's something about his accuracy or his throwing arm. Any quarterback, if they throw the ball, they're too predictable. So I think they're going to try to take the unpredictableness out of the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson, which is hard to do. But I think they'll try to limit that, and that's, I think, what any team against the Ravens should focus on trying to do. Only 23 years old as well. Great future. I think he is one key player for the Ravens. Second, I have to go with the Ravens' leading receiver when his downloads is Mark Andrews, tight end out of Oklahoma. He had Pro Bowler. He was the number 1 leading receiver on the Ravens. Really good player. Good future. I think that he's just a really solid player. So let's look at his stats. He had 64 receptions as a tight end, which is 42nd in the league. Not bad. He had 852 yards, 37th in the league. Not bad. 10 touchdowns, tied second, ladies and gentlemen, in the league. In the league as a tight end. Very impressive. I think Michael Thomas had more. And 13.3 average per reception. As a tight end, 45th. Very good stats. Pro Bowler. Did very well in the Pro Bowl. Ranks second as a tight end. I think that number 1 right now is Austin Hooper, who went to the Browns. But he's a really solid player. As you know, the Ravens, they lost Hayden Hurst. They traded him to the Falcons for a 2nd and 6th round pick for Hayden Hurst in the 7th. I think that was a good play because Andrews is the number 1 guy. Hurst was drafted in the 1st round, if you don't remember, in 2017, the year that Lamar Jackson was drafted. But, of course, was overshadowed by Lamar Jackson. Mark Andrews is the Ravens' number 1 guy, and they did not need Hurst. So it's going to be Andrews, Boyle, and a tight end, I think, on the practice squad maybe. That will be the top 3 unless they draft one in the draft. Mark Andrews, I think, is key to keeping the Ravens' success, and if Lamar Jackson can keep using him as an outlet, they're going to be hard to stop. Next player I have to go with on the defensive end. We have 2 offense. We're going to have one more defense, and that is Ravens' star cornerback along with Marcus Peters, but I'm going to go with Marlon Humphrey. The Ravens 1-0, drafted in 2018 was Lamar Jackson, my bad. 2017, round 1, pick 16 to Baltimore from Alabama. Really good player. Pro Bowler, I think 2 Pro Bowl appearances, I believe. He is super good. His position rank, they don't show it, but he had a star-studded year. Good player coming up on his contract year next year. The Ravens might try to extend him. Really good player, and he is the leader of the defense. Him, along with Calais Campbell, that we'll get into, and Peters and Earl Thomas, I think, are the leaders. I think if Marlon Humphrey can keep up his good success, people around him will not only get better, but I think people will get better around him. So he is influential to the Ravens' success. Now we're going to move on to free agency. The Ravens made some pretty big moves. I already talked about the Hayden Hurst. I'll not be mentioning this in the next segment, but they did trade away Hayden Hurst and a 7th-round pick for a 2nd and 6th-round pick, which I think is good capital for a 1st-round pick, but good capital for him. So let's get into the free agency. So the first pick, as you guys know, the first big acquisition was a 5th-round pick to the Jaguars for none other than the Walter Payton Man of the Year, Calais Campbell. Pro Bowler, defensive end, out of Miami, drafted in 2008. He's about 33 years old, very old. They signed him, I believe, to a 2-year contract. Very good player. I think this is a great addition to their kind of weak defensive end right now after losing players. They may draft one. But I feel like he is a very good player, great at stopping the run, can get to the quarterback. This is someone dynamic that the Ravens need. Their offense was amazing last year. Their defense was a little lackluster, even though they had star-studded players. So they had to improve their front line, I think. Their cornerbacks are good. Their safeties are good. Had to improve the front line. I think Calais Campbell helps this a lot. Really decent pick for the Ravens. For only a 5th-round pick, people are saying it's a steal. Eric DeCosta, Ravens GM, picked him up. People are very excited around Baltimore here where I live for him. Okay, so the second player that the Ravens picked up is after, you may not know this, but after the trade deal fell through with Michael Brockers, probably due to the coronavirus, but physical concerns, which we would have signed for a 3-year, $30 million deal. We signed a $6 million 1-year deal to Derek Wolfe out of Cincinnati, former Bronco. He is a defensive end along with Calais Campbell. Really solid pick, really good player. Had 7 sacks, and he was only played 12 weeks. This is a really good player. Good pick for the Ravens. Solid pick. Solid loss, $6 million. That's fine. So keep in mind, after Calais Campbell, Derek Wolfe, and the Michael Brockers deal fell through, the Ravens still have money left to spend that they will spend eventually. I don't know if they're going to try to make new contracts with players. They can re-sign Ronnie Stanley, their offensive tackle. They can try to re-sign Humphrey that I talked about earlier. People saying the rumors that they may get an Antonio Brown, but I think that they're not going to get Clowney. He costs too much money. They may get Everson Griffin or another veteran wide receiver to help their wide receiver group. So I think if the Ravens do all this, I think that they will be reaching the promised land. I think they will be hoisting Super Bowl trophy next year. But it's gonna take not gonna take a lot, but it's gonna take consistency to reach this. I think they could have done last year. Last year I think was their best chance, but as we know, that did not happen. I think that they can get to Super Bowl 55. It's a very strong possibility, but they do have to overcome Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in the AFC West. So that's it for the video. I covered the Ravens today. I may cover the Steelers. I think the Steelers came in second. I'm probably going to cover the Steelers tomorrow, then the Browns, then the Bengals, and then I'll move on to the rest of the AFC division. And we'll keep going around the divisions. As always, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the notification bell to never miss a video. Comment below if you agree with my prediction. Comment below the next division I should do or the next team I should do. And yeah, thanks for watching. This really helps me get out some good content if you guys like, and subscribe. It only takes, as people say, like 5 seconds to do all 3 things. It takes me about 30 minutes to make an edited video. So just be really helpful if you guys could do that. Thanks for watching Sports Television on our coverage of the Baltimore Ravens. Thank you.